Oh look, I could stop and turn into a corner and pull out on it.
Matt, you are struggling here, aren't you?
Yeah, hungry. Oh yeah, you're fucked. I've got the Wales game on, Nexus. Yeah, I'm struggling. I only did a handful of laps and then I went for my tea, so... I don't like
Power don't help you here, does it?
No. I think on the LFM, Bob, the Mercedes loses 7 kilograms, so... I think this back off the season favours more Will Friedman's Porsche than it does my Mercedes.
Oh dear. Through to keep his legs, that was.
And a team of
Who's watching the jungle?
I've got to watch it on catch up, so don't say it.
Someone died.
Danny's got a snake between his legs.
That was funny as that. Yeah.
Danny is in McFly, Danny, yeah?
Yes. He's gonna win. Then there'll be 2 McFly members that have won I'm a Celeb.
Yeah. Dougie won it. Who's the other one? Who's the Tom? Is it the
Tom is
guy?
the lead singer, yeah.
His wife won it the other year.
Harry was in Strictly.
Harry won Strictly.
Yeah, Tom hasn't really done anything, but he's probably the famous one out of all 4 of them. Danny's only become relevant recently because of The Voice. Anyway, boys, best of luck, have fun.
Cheers,
and
dude. Thank you.
Catch you on the other side.
See you on the podium. Go on, Kelly, be confident. Come on, Kelly, let's hear it. Yes!
See you on the podium.
We haven't heard that for a while.
could his ASP Mercedes by a further 6 points. They'd have moved it out of reach going into tomorrow's race. But John Watson, anything can happen in this championship, as we saw in the endurance race 2 weeks ago. Well, there's some busy narration.
Good. A good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Simplo Motorsport, live here once again for another night worth of GT4 action. My name is Dan Davis, and I'll be bringing you all the action here tonight at Simplo Motorsport for the 19th, 20th, and 21st round of the GT4 Championship, aka round 7 of the season. And what a round we have ahead of us here. We're in the early morning of Spain here for the Valencia race tonight, and as you can see, yes, it's dark at the minute, but we will be going into the lighter weather, obviously due to the GT4s having 3 races. We are currently sitting at like 5, I believe, early hours of the morning. I can't remember off the top of my head. If I have a quick look at the minute, no, actually not the button I wanted. So at the minute, the cars are currently running around at 4 a.m. in the morning. Qualifying, we're going to 5 a.m. and then the race itself will be at 6 in the morning. So it'll be up until 8 a.m. for these guys in tonight's race. But nonetheless, we've got 3 races ahead of us here at this fantastic circuit in Valencia, which is obviously most famously known for being a MotoGP bike circuit. And for the GT3s, it's definitely a circuit that's going to show some struggle here. Other kind of events that have been here as well is the FIA Motorsport Games, TCR Europe, obviously the Grand Prix of MotoGP, European motorbikes as well, GT, WEC Europe, Le Mans Series has been back here 2007, DTM, and the World Touring Cars as well. Formula E have also raced here in the past. But we are currently running this layout here in Valencia. It's a classified FIA Grade 2, so don't expect to see Formula 1 here anytime soon. And it was opened back in 1999. It's now 25 years old, so still a relatively new circuit here in Spain. Obviously replacing the troublesome Valencia race circuit that F1 went to a couple of times, which was a street circuit but never really worked. But nonetheless, we are here for this event. And regarding the championship standings, it looks like this. Matthew Duffin leading the way in his Mercedes-Benz. He's got 177 points, but I do think tonight this could be a massive change in the championship. He's got 131 points ahead of Skunky in his Ginetta. In third place, we have got Will Friedman. He's only 164 points. After a fantastic Barcelona, Clouden is only 4 points behind in the championship, and he's only on 270. So those points can come down with 3 rounds in the event. There is all still to play for. 57 points per race, so you know it's very big points. Gary Leach currently 5th at the minute in the championship, while Hugh Darren's in 6th. Kieran O'Reilly in 7th, while 8th is Andy. 9th is Ian McGowan, while in 10th is Matt Wright. In 11th is Sam. In 12th is Tipping, while Stardog Yolasta, new race winner here in the GT4, starts in 13th place in the championship, while Alton Racer is in 14th. 15th is Nuclear Waste, while 16th is Dan Taylor. 17th place position is KLF, with Diz sat in 18th. Darren Bell down in 19th place position, just ahead of 20th position of Rob Smith. Down into the 21st position, we have DJ Phil. In 22nd is Susie's Cream, ahead of N. Collins in 23rd. 24th is Rolo, while Lucas is in 25th. Shane is in 26th, while 27th is Sky Shundermeyer. 28th is John Lagude. while Punton is sat in 29th. John Andrews in 30th, Rushton in 31st, and Beasley in 32nd, with Yoshi, Segal, and Graham still yet to score some points. And as you can see at the minute, it is Will Friedman setting the pace with a 140.3 track, currently green at the minute, so not got the most grip out there. Well, Clouden once again having another strong round by the looks of things here. He's only 3/10 off of Will Friedman, matched by Ian McGowan in third place, and Skunky's just behind. But Matthew Duffin at the minute in his Mercedes-Benz with the full weight on board seems to be struggling here at Valencia, so this could be a massive change in the championship. Anything can still happen though. So like I said, the way this works in the format, nice to see you in the chat, Gary Clarble, good evening to yourself. The way this works here for the GT4s, we have got 3 races here this evening. We will have, let's get a car, we've got Steve Millington from the Pro-Am category. He's now moved up and had a go in the GT4s. He's currently 5th at the minute in the standings. I believe we've got some other new ones as well. We've got Alistair Cummins in 17th. And I believe Matthew Collins as well in for this one. And you've got your typical usual names as well. The way the format works here this evening is like this. We have 3 sprint races. No pit stop required, just flat out from lights to flag, and no pit stop. Like I said, they don't have to come in and stop. They don't have to do anything like that. It is just pure fastest time. Regarding the championship, the top 8 in the championship are we carrying ballast in this one, so success ballast at that. So at the minute it is going to be Matthew Duffin carrying the 40 kilos, and then it's going to be Skunky with 35, Will Friedman with 30, Jamal Clouden with 25. 20 goes the way of Gary Leach, 15 for Hugh Darren, 10 for Kieran O'Reilly, and 5 for Andy. So those 8 in the championship will be carrying the ballast. And also top 10 in the championship cannot qualify in this first session. So some of the guys are going to have to stay in the pits, while everyone else is free to qualify, and that's going to give an opportunity of a reverse grid to be put in place. Obviously the reverse grid did not work with 3 races, so we're having to go with this way around, as a few guys get their last few preparations in before the start of the first qualifying session. Then we go into race 2, and obviously the qualifying session will open back up to everyone. But obviously the problem with that is we will have a 5-minute qualifying session. So you got to get out there and get a lap time on the board. It's kind of like a one-shot qualifying. So if you're not able to get a lap time on the board, you're going to be starting further down the grid, which will really shake up the championship. And then obviously race 3 will be a repeat of what happened in race 2. Track has just been set to green and now gone to fast. So we should see some improvement from the lap times. Excuse me, just a lump in my throat there. So let's hear from you guys in the chat. Currently 7 of you watching the stream. Can you please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here. And while you're at it as well, head down into the description below and have a look at our fantastic sponsors as well. That is of Design Manchester, who are producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts and mugs and printed clothing, and much more, including Simplay merchandise. Also there's Audio Sport, manufacturers of VW Transporter T4 audio solutions and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk and head over to their Facebook as well. There's no one really out on track at the minute. We've got Robert Ramsell, who's also here tonight with his teammate to have a go in the GT4. So it's really Robert Ramsell, Matthew Collins are the only 2 that are out on track. So everyone else seems to be relatively happy with their setups as we come to the end of this qualifying session. Practice session, what I meant to say. But this Valencia circuit should offer some great racing here tonight, and we'll see who can come out on top of all of this one. Matthew Duffin, I think, has got a long night ahead of him with a lot of work to do in that Mercedes-Benz. Looks like it's going to be a struggle here this evening. But he is going to be trying his very best, though, to get himself up there. Currently mid-pack at the minute. Just shows how much he is struggling at this stage. of practice, but if anyone can pull anything off, it will be Matthew Duffin. Alistair Cummins now coming out onto track. One of the things they got to keep an eye on, but these guys won't have to worry about it, but the Pro-Ams and the Pro will. Pit exit and pit entry here is very fast and very tricky to... it's very easy to get it wrong around here. But we're only a couple of minutes away from the end of practice. As Gary Leach now joins into the session. Who's that currently come to the far end of the circuit? I think it's Steve Millington. No, he's returned back to the pits. Is it Robert Ramsell? No, he's exited the pits. Rob Smith. Who is that? That is Matthew Collins. Okay. Hopefully he'll do another lap so we can have a quick look at what this circuit does look like. And I've ended up switching to the wrong driver. No, we want drive. So this is on board Matthew Collins around the beautiful circuit of Valencia. Obviously you won't be able to see much from this view, but he's ended up in the gravel and I think that he's going to bail on that one, so we'll try and find a driver that is on a lap. That is the 3-2-1. Hopefully we'll get to the Alpine of Alistair Cummins. As it comes down towards the final corner, this is an important corner to get yourself set up and ready to start your lap around here. And as already he's had a little slide on exit. Obviously the track's still on fast, it's quite tricky and loose, so he's going to end up going down towards turn number 1 and try and get a good run into turn number 1. Long straight here, reaching up to the 5th and 6th gears, dropping down 2 gears to get the car turned into turn 1. You can run out wide, but if you go across that green AstroTurf, you will get penalised. Braking then into turn 2, just past the white little marker on the right hand side, get the front turned in. We'll try and get the rear to grip up as you then get chucked into turn 3 and then launch straight into turn 4. Braking again on that white line on the outside, get the front turned in into 5, heading up towards 6. Loads of fast flowing corners that come one after another through to 6, uphill towards turn number 7, and again white line on the outside to indicate drop down 2 gears, get the front turned in, get it grip, find the grip, and then launch yourself out of the corner. Past a little kink that's not really anything of turn 7 down towards turn 8. Braking heavy, nose drops down in. You've got to be patient in turn 8. Let the car run wide as much as you dare, and then into a 9 and 10. 10 and 11. You have to brake on the exit of turn 10, making the car wanting to understeer and oversteer all at the same time, and get a good exit out of 11 to then run through the kink of turn 12. Braking once again, white line marker seems to be the braking points, and take as much exit as you dare, but it's extremely bumpy. Around the long curving turn 13 and then into a heavy braking zone of turn 14, trying to get the front turn in. Very tricky corners to get right, and that is a lap of Valencia done beautifully by Alistair Cummins there, so a massive thanks to him. Qualifying now starts here at Valencia, and like I said, the top 10 in the championship cannot qualify. Well, everyone else can, so we'll see a couple of cars now come out on track. We've got 24 cars here this evening as Jamie now gets into the server as well. So who's going to be the man on pole position? That is the question. That's the 22. That is KLF, who is the first one out. He was the first one into the server, and he's the first one out onto track. What can Kelly do here, as he is going to be setting the pace? And if you are currently watching and you do want to be a part of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport, then head over to our Discord and our Facebook and our SimGrid page and get yourself signed up as well. You could be a part of the action here in the GT4s and be racing in this category. We are getting past the halfway stage of the championship. It is getting closer to Christmas, so you know what that means. It is starting to get into the new year, and we will be having to do this all over again. Not sure if the GT4s will be returning next season. We may see them come back, may not. We might see a new championship in replace of them. But nonetheless, they have been a brilliant championship nonetheless, and I've thoroughly enjoyed commentating on them. Aston Martin currently 3 podiums away from their 50th. Mercedes are 1 win from their 100th. Gary Leach is 2 podiums away from his 100th. McLaren needs 5 wins for their 100th. Matthew Duffin needs 3 podiums for his 150th. So all still to play for. Regarding GT4s, no one to take any penalties here tonight. Would have been busy, but he's still having the Xbox issues, trying to get his account back. But nonetheless, KLF is going to set some lap times here and see where he can put himself.
Key to their chances this weekend is going to be the pace of Timo Bocker's last qualifying session and how close to the opposition he can stay in the opening stint of the race.
He goes through turn number 1, making sure he has a great run through there. The Ginetta should be relatively good in these corners, be able to carry the speed and have a nice flowing movement to it. The Porsche is probably the one that looks just the favoured one around here. Skunky is actually the most successful around here. There's a pole to his name and 2 race wins, and he's back here once again. He did that in the Ginetta, and he's back in the Ginetta once again. We'll see what he can do later on this evening. But through the twisty corners of the middle sector comes KLF. He has got an Alpine behind him. That is Dan Taylor. He doesn't want to get too close to the back of KLF. Could be putting him off his lap and kind of badly setting up his. But nonetheless, KLF is going to be setting the pace here. Robert Ramsell, hard track to nail the perfect lap. Definitely agree on that one. It's not an easy circuit to get right. I've spent hours and hours and hours dialing in a Lamborghini and a Lexus around here, and I still can't get it to grips. Dan Taylor, who's not currently on a lap, is actually going to start hindering KLF at the minute. Might want to start thinking about backing off for his own run, unless he's caught him as they come down into the heavy braking zone of the final corner. KLF is going to exit the final corner. Is Dan Taylor on a lap? I might be wrong. He might be on one. Needless to say, he is right on the back of KLF. KLF's crossing the line and set a lap time. Dan Taylor does go faster. And just in the background, looks like Old Sim Racer coming to the line. Yes, he sets the pace of a 42.8. Just behind him, his tipping. He now goes top of the table. We got another Alpine coming to the line. That is Rob Smith. What can Rob Smith do? He crosses the line now, and he now goes into 5th place position. We've now got the Porsche of Rolo going into P3, followed by Stardog, I think that is in the background. Yes, it is. And he now goes into P2. As you've got the 159 of Nuclear Waste coming down towards the final corner, and followed by the 4. I think it was the 4. Well, it's a Ginetta, I know that. So Nuclear Waste goes into P3. That was Susie's Cream. He goes into P7. And another Aston Martin. That was Sam, and he did not set a lap time on the board. We're now looking to the 29 of Matthew Collins coming into the final few corners. It's a night race, and well, not a night race, it's an evening race, and I can't see the numbers as Matthew Collins is going to invalidate his lap. There is going to be Dan Taylor next to come to the line. Quite a few cars that's not come out on track that can qualify. So Matthew Collins crosses the line, and obviously no lap time for him. Dan Taylor has now cleared KLF. So into the final corner comes Dan Taylor, and he seems to have quite a bit of pace in that Alpine. Heading now down towards the start-finish line. Can he improve on his lap time? He does. He goes up to 2nd. KLF, no improvement for him. Then we got Old Sim Racer. He now goes to P2. We've got another Ginetta. That is Susie's Cream, I believe. No, it's not. That was Tipping, and Tipping improved his lap time. As we now look further back once again for cars to be on a lap. DJ Phil's gone out now. Who is that coming to the 9? The 741 of Stardog. He now goes P2. We've got another Porsche in the background. I believe that is Rolo. Can he improve on his lap time? No improvement there. DJ Phil is now starting a lap. I believe it's then going to be Nuclear Waste coming to the line. Nuclear Waste to the line. He now goes top of the session, fastest to his name. Susie's Cream to the line. He now goes P6, and Sam now makes it an FBR 1-2. The two Aston Martins on the front row. They looked mighty last time out here with the likes of Sky Schundermeyer driving the car. And I believe also Tim Venting and also, Tim Venting and Sky were very, very competitive last time out here. So a car in the final sector. Who is that? That is Matthew Collins. He's actually negotiated the final corner. To the line he comes. And he gets the time on the board. He goes into 11th place position. Dan Taylor was on a lap, but he has invalidated that one. So we then look to a KLF who's invalidated his as well. So it's going to be a Rolo, old sim racer, 8 tenths down on the fastest at the minute in his Porsche. He comes to the line. He does improve and goes P3, keeping it still an FBR 1-2. Tipping to the line. Doesn't improve and stays in P4 at this stage. But at the minute it is all about the FBR boys. Coming to the line now. It is Rob Smith in his Alpine. Any improvement? He's currently 10th. He moves up ahead of KLF. Stardog now 4 tenths off the pace. Any improvement? No improvement for him. And then it's Rolo coming out of the final corner. Rolo in his gold Porsche. Any improvement? No improvement for him. DJ Phil now coming to the line. He's going to get a lap time on the board. And DJ Phil goes up into 12th place. Nuclear Waste, meanwhile, doesn't improve and stays top of the session so far, but with Susie's Cream just behind him as well. Sam looks like he's had a moment in the final corners, just dropped off. And he's going to have to try and get around this lap. I think it's going to be tight, but he needs to get around this lap and try and get the last lap in, or he's going to bail out. But once again, Matthew Collins into the final sector for him. Currently second to last at the minute. I'm surprised a few more drivers haven't gone out. I'm looking at Steve Millington, Robert Ramsell, Collins. Oh, I think they are probably, because it's their first race, they're not allowed to qualify. But either way, Dan Taylor to the 9, the 85, 9 tenths off. He gets a little bit closer. He now goes into 5th place. Old Sim Racer, any improvement from him? No improvement from him. KLF does improve and goes up to P9. And Tipping doesn't improve either. We now look to Rob Smith once again, and he's got Stardog hunting him down. He's currently 4 tenths off the pace at the minute, while Rob Smith is 2.7 at the moment. He goes faster than KLF, while Stardog does not improve. And then we got the next Porsche driver of Rolo to come to the line. An improvement from him. He finds an improvement that doesn't change his position overall. DJ Phil exits the final corner now. He's got a couple of cars behind him of, I believe, the Aston Martin. I can hear that throaty sound of a car. DJ Phil crosses the line. He finds improvement. As Nuclear Waste crosses the line, no improvement for him, nor is Susie's Cream. So a lot of these guys seems to be hitting their window at the minute, and a lot are now in the pits. Sam, the 96, did not get around in time to get another lap on the board, so he is done. Currently an FBR 1-2. Can they keep it that way as they come to the end of qualifying? There is the next car to come to the line. I believe it's the 29 of Matthew Collins. Currently sat 11th at the minute. Can he jump ahead of KLF? He improves but doesn't change position. Next to the line will be the 67 of Tipping. Oh, was that our limits? No, it was within limits. Does he improve? No, he does not. So it is an FBR 1-2 with Nuclear Waste taking the pole position and Sam running alongside him in the Aston Martin. Double Aston Martin front mow, so brilliant job from those boys. Old Sim Racer will start in 3rd with Tipping in 4th. Dan Taylor 5th. Stardog in 6th. Susie's Cream in 7th. Rolo in 8th. Rob Smith in 9th. KLF in 10th. Matthew Collins and then DJ Phil in 12th. The non-qualifiers, Who Darren in 13th, from Andy, from Skunky, from Ian McGowan, Jamal Clouden, Matthew Duffin, Stephen Millington, Robert Ramsell, Will Friedman, Alistair Commons, Gary Leach, and Jamie bringing up the rear. Excuse me. Guys, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at Simplay Motorsport. If you do want to be a part of the action here at Simplay, then head over to our Discord and our SimGrid and get yourself signed up, as we've got many championships on at the minute, and obviously we'll have fun events over the Christmas period and New Year period. But also make sure, as like I said, we're coming to the end of this season, make sure you keep an eye out on what is happening in general and find out when the season will be returning. The Endurance Championship has come to an end, and again, keep an eye out for that in the new year of when we'll be starting that back up. But right now, I will get a poll going on who you think is going to win this first race. 20 seconds before the guys will be heading off to start their preparation for this first race. Reminder as well, this is only a 20-minute race. A lot of cars on the grid and a lot of opportunities in the championship for other drivers. Matthew Duffin looking like he's struggling here. Can Skunky, Will Friedman and Clouden try and bring that gap down to him in the championship? We shall see, as I am getting a poll put up at the minute. So please bear with me at the minute. And there we go. There is a poll up for you guys. Who do you think is going to win at this race one? It is up to you in the chat. And if you don't think it's one of these drivers, then please put your vote in the chat on who you think is going to win this one. And also a reminder as well on your screen, this is the championship calendar. We're at round 8 of the season, round 7 for these guys, but round 8 or week 8. And next week we'll be heading to the land of the rising sun of Suzuka. And then we'll be heading back stateside to the Circuit of the Americas down in Texas for the 10th round of the season. Then going to finish a doubleheader in the United Kingdom with Autumn Park starting things off, and followed by Donington Park. Rob Smith said, forgot to put fuel in. Oh God, Rob Smith is going to be in trouble, and he's actually going to start from pit lane, so that actually might help him out. So a few drivers who did qualify is end up starting in the pit lane, and that also helps a lot of drivers move up. So Stardog didn't make the start, neither did Rolo, nor did Rob Smith, and nor did DJ Phil. So all that qualifying has pushed the likes of Darren and Andy and Skunky and McGowan up the order. We've got a fast track, we've got slippery conditions. It's going to be an interesting one. As I ended up pressing the wrong button there. Return back to what is on screen. And there they are going round. And also to drivers and anyone else, if they fancy it, we do have our Patreon support here on the channel. Reserve your preferred race number and then a priority of access to sign-ups and events, track suggestions towards future seasons, pre-season promos, and you automatically get updated on our social media. So have a look at that as well. If you want to be a Patreon, it's only £3 a month, and it really does help us out here on the channel. But nonetheless, they are into the final few corners. We're about to get underway for the first race of the night. It is a Aston Martin 1-2. It is an FBR 1-2. It is Nuclear Waste from Sam on the front row. Who is going to win this one? Can the Porsche of Old Sim Racer or the Ginetta of Tipping stop the FBR? Can anyone from the mid-pack chase them down? And what can the guys from pit lane do? We now just wait for the green.
Green light.
We are green and go, and Andy gets himself a drive-through after just being out of position at the start. But we head down to turn number 1 with Nuclear Waste leading the way at the minute in that powerful Aston Martin. Into turn 1 he goes, and he stays relatively keen. As there is Dan Taylor. He's had contact, and there's all sorts of trouble, all sorts of strays at the minute as Dan Taylor manages to get going. There's Susie's Cream faced the wrong way. Stardog's got to stop and go for speeding in the pit lane after just got getting going. for Nuclear Waste with the start he wanted, with Sam, Old Sim Racer tipping, and then Dan Taylor dropping down the order. KLF's there as well, with Andy with a decent start as well. Once to get through into Sector 2, I'll be able to give you an updated order of the grid. But Nuclear Waste, though, leading the way. Jamal Cloudon's had a very good start, as has Matthew Duffin as well. But how long can they stay there? That is the question. Susie Scream struggling to get going. Starlog and the rest still to first across the sector times. But it is Nuclear Waste leading the way from Sam, from Old Sim Racer, from Tiffin, from KLF, from Andy, who's been passed by Jamal Cloudon now. And Matthew Duffin now looking to make a move on Andy as well, which he does so. Nuclear Waste are going incredibly wide in that right-hander. That's going to open the door to Sam to come up the inside, and he does so. So Sam now takes the lead of this race, and Sam leading them away with Old Sim Racer waiting for an opportunity to pounce. While KLF's made a mistake, he's dropped the wheel in the gravel, and Cloudon's gone through, as has Matthew Duffin. But it's still Sam leading them away after lap 1 here. A little bit chaotic. There's a car around in the background. Who is that? That looks like Andy. Yes, it is. He has to wait for the entire pack to come through. He might as well serve his drive-through now then. But Sam goes into turn 1. Jamal Cloudon set the fastest lap of the race. Alistair Cummins had a great start. He's in 7th. Steve Millington 8th. KLF's dropped down to 9th with Gary Leach right behind them. And where is Skunky? Where is Skunky all this? Skunky is currently in 11th place position behind Gary Leach, and he's going side by side. Will Friedman, who's got a lot of pace in that Porsche tonight. We'll see how fast he can work his way up the order. But it's Sam from Nuclear Waste, from Old Sim Racer, from Tipping, from Duffin, from Cloudon, from Cummings, from KLF, from Millington, from Leach, from Friedman, from Skunky. We go back to the front. Sam trying to build that gap on Nuclear Waste. Matthew Duffin's coming under pressure from Jamal Cloudon. He looks to the outside. Won't get the job done there. This is just allowing Tipping to just disappear up the road ever so slightly. And now once again Nuclear Waste has gone very wide. Once again, same corner, and he's going to get outdone by Old Sim Racer as well. Excuse me. And up towards the final corner they come, and penalties have now been cleared. And Sam now starting to build a gap from Old Sim Racer. Nuclear Waste did have the qualifying pace, but seems to be struggling at this stage. Where is Will Friedman? He's cleared Gary Leach already, and Skunky as well, so he's cleared those guys. And down the main straight they go. Gary Leach will be wanting to stay ahead of Skunky going into turn number 1. Managers do so. Now, Will Freeman's next target is Alistair Cummins. So he's going to be trying to hunt him down. What else is going on at the minute? Steve Millington having a fight with KLF, and KLF taps the back of him. And Steve Millington goes round. Jamie is now, well, he's going to benefit from that one, as is Ian McGowan, and so is a few others. Robert Ramsell benefits from that, as will Matthew Collins, I think. No, he stays behind them at the minute. Meanwhile, Sam still leading the way, but Old Sim Racers brought that gap down by half a second. He's still bringing Nuclear Waste with him and Tipping. Matthew Duffin and Cloudon just on the back of him. Alistair Cummins started to work his way onto the back, but Will Friedman will have the pace and the confidence to try and chase this pack down. Matthew Duffin there running a little bit wide. Is Nuclear Waste going to run wide again? No, he actually manages to make the corner this time. As they again head up into the final sector. Tipping there running a little bit wide. That's going to make him compromise to Matthew Duffin, who's going to look to the inside of the final corner. It's very difficult to get this job done, but he's up the inside. He gets the braking done and through he goes. Watch out for Jamal Cloudon. He'll want to get a good exit and try and get past the Ginetta as well. The Chevy Camaro should have the grunt on the Ginetta. And down the straight they go. Old Sim Racer sets the fastest lap of the race. And Jamal Cloudon looked to the inside of turn number 1. Doors there. Tipping allows him racing room. And through goes the mighty Chevy. and just dwarfs the size of that Ginetta. Sam, meanwhile, pulling away from Old Sim Racer, ahead of Nuclear Waste, ahead of Matthew Duffin, ahead of Tipping, ahead of Clouden. Well, Clouden now ahead of Tipping. Cummings now just behind. Will Friedman's brought the gap down. Gary's gone with him as well. With Skunky, Hugh Darren, Steve Millington, Ian McGowan, Robert Ramsell, Jamie, KLF, Collins, Rolo, Rob Smith, Andy batting it out at the back here. And Rob Smith gets ahead of him. Stardog is about to be lapped, I think. No, these guys aren't lapped yet, as Dan Taylor's to the back of the pack. Sam, though, doing everything that he needs to do, making sure he hits the spray. Old Sim Racer now go wide in this tricky right-hander. He's got Nuclear Waste trying to hunt him down and try and get that position back from him. Well, Nuclear Waste has a little moment over the kink. And Tipping just sticking with Jamal Clouden, but Cummings is on the back of him, as is Friedman. And Friedman is slowly working his way onto the back of this fighting pack. And we're not even halfway through this race yet, as it's going to be Sam from Old Sim Racer from Nuclear Waste. And you can see all the way down to the Alpine of Hugh Darren. The top 11 are still within reach of a race win here. Will Friedman sets fastest lap of the race, and he's close enough to Cummins as they head down towards turn number 1. It's probably going to be in turn 2. He's going to have that confidence to just send it up the inside. There is Cummings. Here comes Friedman up the inside of turn 2. Job done. That's another position done for Friedman. Next target, Tipping. And then it's going to be a championship rivals. So some of the championship contenders can't seem to push any further. Skunky just seems to can't work his way past Gary Leach at the minute, and is stuck behind him at this precise stage. And Hugh Darren's just behind them. Steve Millington dropping way off the back of these guys. He's got Ian McGowan and Robert Ramsell for company. But Sam still at the minute got control of this race. The top 3 now starting to feel a little bit more confident, as Jamal Clouden now is the one who's putting pressure out at the minute. He's putting pressure on Matthew Duffin, who Tipping is trying to go with, and Friedman goes a little bit wide there, but is able to carry the speed through, as now Jamal Clouden is looking for any opportunity to sneak his way past Duffin. The only Chevy Camaro, he's looking left, he's looking right. Is he going to do it into the final corner? He goes to the outside. He'll try and want to get a better exit and use that straight line advantage. On the dirt goes one of the Aston Martins. That is Nuclear Waste. And Clouden is in the slipstream. Meanwhile, Friedman not close enough to Tipping at this stage. And down towards turn number 1 we go for another time round. Clouden looks, Duffin defends. Both kind of compromising their own line there. Duffin's going to run wide, which he does. Clouden is a little bit smoother through the corner, but both of them kind of compromising their line and losing a little bit, well, I was going to say losing a bit of time, but not to the guys in front, but to the guys behind, as Tipping and Friedman are now pretty much right on them. Meanwhile, Skunky has got Hugh Darren breathing down his neck. The Alpine looking quite mighty round here. Hugh Darren got quite a bit of pace in that car. And Hugh Darren looking all over the place. He goes to the right, he goes to the left. He can't find a way through at this moment in time. Meanwhile, Clouden's trying again around the outside. Oh, Matthew Duffin. Matthew Duffin's going to hang him wide. And there goes Friedman. He's now clear Tipping. He now sees Clouden and Duffin, and he's still got half of this race to go. So it's still a game on, as they now catch towards the back of the pack. Clouden flashing Duffin. And Duffin makes a mistake there through the kink. Clouden's going to have to go the long way around. And once again, they're just holding each other up. And it's allowing the top 3 to disappear and Friedman to get closer. Duffin under immense pressure here. Really has no answer in the Mercedes. Matt once again defends the inside. Clouden goes to the outside. Is Matt going to run wide? Not as wide as last time, but Friedman is right there now. Will Friedman right on to the 4th and 5th place drivers. This is your closest fight. Well, I say that Gary Leach and Alistair Cummins is quite close to one another. Skunky has now finally dropped Hugh Darren, and Jamie has dropped behind KLF. Well, KLF's dropped behind Jamie. No, Jamie's still behind KLF. Oh, one of the Aston Martins goes wide. That's Nuclear Waste. He manages to hook it back up, but he can't keep doing that one too many times. There's Jamal Clouden looking to the inside. Looking. Has he got the nose up the inside? He has got enough, but Duffin clears him a little bit. He sticks to the inside. Friedman's now behind them. Friedman looking to the inside of Clouden now as they go into these tight, twisty corners. As Sam goes wide, and Friedman now up the inside of Jamal Clouden, went to attack and now lost out. Meanwhile, Gary has cleared Alistair Cummins. Duffin now has got a new challenger. That is Friedman. Meanwhile, Old Sim Racer is pressurising Sam, and Nuclear Waste is coming back. Friedman is on the back of Duffin. Duffin's going to run wide, I think. There he carried a bit. No, he's actually managed to hook it up. It is actually going to be Jamal Clouden with the better exit, and he's going to be on the pressure of the Porsche. Meanwhile, the leaders are still going at it. Sam versus Old Sim Racer versus Nuclear Waste. They're just hanging in there. Duffin is saving them at this stage. And Matthew Duffin at the minute, you saw that Friedman did not react to Clouden in turn 1. He's defending in turn 2 because that's more likely the place he's going to attack, and Friedman defends that inside, Tipping still with them. Meanwhile, Skunky has cleared Alistair, and Hugh Darren's gone through with him. Jamie back onto the rear wing of KLF as well, and they've got Robert Ramsdell and Matthew Collins with them as well, so they're having a great little scrap. But back to the front, Sam, Old Sim Racer and Nuclear Waste still defending for their lives, as they're still trying to just pull away from the fighting two, and up the inside goes Will Friedman. Jamal Clouden looking for an opportunity, and Will Friedman gets the position. He's through past Duffin, and Clouden's missed the corner. He's made contact, but he's going to drop down the order. Will Friedman gains the position. Can he do anything about the leaders? I'm not sure what on earth Clouden done there. But Tipping goes through, as does Gary Leach. But it's still Sam from Old Sim Racer from Nuclear Waste, who's gone very wide, and onto the grass and gravel he goes. Will Friedman going to try and hunt them down towards the end. He's still got 6.5 minutes, so it is still doable for Friedman, and he's got the pace to do it. He's cleared Duffin now, and Tipping trying to stick with Duffin. Sam, meanwhile, still got Old Sim Racer, the Porsche, looking mighty around here in Valencia. On to lap number 8. And Old Sim Racer now, already, they were 2.3 was Will Friedman to the back of this group. He's already cut the gap down in one sector to 1.4. That's how much pace he has compared to the leaders. But he's first got to clear the first Aston Martin of Nuclear Waste. Who Darren once again just on the rear wing of Skunky, and Skunky at the minute can't seem to shake that Alpine off, but they've also got a Chevy just in front of them to play with. And Tipping and Gary Leach working their way towards the front of the pack. But Sam at the minute creeping a little bit more of a gap to Old Sim Racer. Will Friedman's now onto the back of Nuclear Waste. Nuclear Waste goes a little bit wide through that left-hander. And they go a little bit there. Old Sim Racer's gone deep, and Nuclear Waste not quite close enough to capitalise on that one. And again, this just gives Sam a little bit of a buffer. 5 minutes left of this race. Nuclear Waste has caught Old Sim Racer back up as they all concertina up. And here comes Will Friedman, also looking to put some pressure. Duffy, meanwhile, has got Tipping chasing him down with Leach. So the two Ginettas are coming back at him. And running wide there goes Nuclear Waste. How many times have he pushed the limits here? As they are coming up to lap traffic. Who is that? it is Susie's Cream. So at some point, Susie's Cream has to allow these guys through. That's Nuclear Waste there. Poor exit through turn number 1. Will Freeman's going to look to the inside of turn number 2. He's got it done, and third place is his. He is on the move here. And Nuclear Waste has no answer and has to fall into line. So Freeman up another position, up into the top 3. Can he get Old Sim Racer now? This is a great racing from the GT4s. Old Sim Racer hasn't got much time left. He needs to find a way past Sam if he possibly can, because he's got Will Friedman coming at them very quickly. Meanwhile, Tipping looks like he's lost pace to Duffin at the minute, and is more worried about Gary Leach and Jamal Clouden behind him. Running wide goes Tipping, and Gary Leach going to look up the inside possibly. He's not quite close enough at this stage. And Jamal Clouden also looking quite racy himself. Sam, meanwhile, has got the dirty air of Susie's Cream's Janetta. He's flashing the lights at Susie's Cream. He wants him out of the way. He's got a hungry pack of cars behind him. An Old Sim Racer waiting for any opportunity to just sneak up the inside. Into the braking zone of turn 2. And Will Freeman had a great run through turn 2. He's right on the rear wing of Old Sim Racer now. Gary is still behind Tipping, can't find a way through. Tipping defends the inside of turn 4. He's run wide. Both have run wide. That's going to give Clouden a look up the inside. And Gary and Clouden go through. Clouden's still on the inside of Gary. He's going to have better grunt going up towards the left-hander. And Gary holds on to that position, but Clouden manages to go through with Gary to pass Tipping. Meanwhile, Old Sim Racer is still stuck behind Sam, and they've still got Will Freeman. Susie's Cream is still just there. Is he going to start getting the blue flags? We won't be able to see because it's relatively dark, but Sam should start be getting the priority to be let through. Matthew Duffin's passed Nuclear Waste, so Nuclear Waste has made a mistake, and Duffin now up to P4. This is where Old Sim Racer looks to have the pace. Looks like his best opportunity, but Sam defends the inside. He's going to run a little bit wide. Old Sim Racer is going to get a better slingshot. Will Freeman gets an even better slingshot as they head now towards turn number 1. Sam defending the inside. Here comes the Porsche of Old Sim Racer. This is the last lap of the race, and 2 Porsches are going to attack the Aston Martin. Old Sim Racer up the inside. Sam braves it out on the brakes. He holds it there. Will Freeman's trying to get a better slingshot out of turn 1. But can't do so. Friedman up the inside of Old Sim Racer, and Sim Racer loses that second place. It is now Friedman going for the win. 1 lap to do it. Sam's been defending this entire race, and he's now got probably the fastest car here tonight. And Friedman looking to the inside. Not quite a door opening there, but Sam will run wide, and Will Friedman look to the inside now with the left-hander. Don't tap, boys. And Old Sim Racer's back up the inside of Friedman. And that's just allowed Duffin to catch him back up as well. So Old Sim Racer himself hasn't given up on this. Sam's run wide. That's going to allow Old Sim Racer to have a sniff of an opportunity. No, not quite enough. Top 4 all going at it. Bumper to bumper. Susie's Cream has pulled away, but Sam's still hanging in there. The Aston Martin driver started on the front row. He's currently leading this race. Is he going to win this race? As Old Sim Racer looking, he can't find a way through. Friedman there as well. Duffin there. Down towards the final corner we go. Sam has fought hard for this one. He's going to look like he's going to take the win here, as Friedman looks like he's going to just trying to out-drag them, but he can't. It is Sam who wins the first race tonight. He wins here at Valencia from Old Sim Racer, from Friedman, from Duffin. Nuclear Waste is going to come home for 5th. Stichter's going to go here, Cloud, and Gary Leach will finish in 7th, Tipping in 8th, Hugh Darren in 9th, Skunky in 10th, Alistair Cummings in 11th, Stephen Millington in 12th, Ian McGowan in 13th. KLF ended up dropping down the order. And Jamie now comes to the line. Jamie crosses the line for 14th. It's then going to be Robert Ramsell for 15th. Matthew Collins in 16th. Andy is going to finish in that 17th place position as DJ Phil crosses the line in 22nd. Rolo in 18th, Rob Smith is going to finish in 19th, Stardog in 20th, Susie Scream in 21st, DJ Phil in 22nd, KLF in 23rd, and I think it returned to the pits, and Dan Taylor in 24th position. Wow, what a dramatic race one that was. And Sam there doing everything he possibly can to hold on to the win, and he managed to do so. Old Sim Racer managing to nip it at Friedman at the end. What brilliant racing. That is race 1 done. We'll be back momentarily for race 2. Don't go anywhere. Grab yourself a coffee, grab yourself a drink. We'll be back in a few moments' time.
This weekend, 26 cars from 6 manufacturers, Audi, Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren, Mercedes and Porsche are all on the grid. Fanatec GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS, is part of the global competition that is led by Mercedes AMG from Audi Sport and then Ferrari. The grid is forming then as the cars make their way from the long pit lane round onto the circuit. It's not the sunniest of days, but it's dry, it's warm, and the teams are about to do battle in this penultimate 60-minute race. It could be that the championship overall is decided in this race if the number 32 Audi can outscore the Acodis ASP Mercedes by a further 6 points. They'd have moved it out of reach going into tomorrow's race. But John Watson, anything can happen in this championship, as we saw in the endurance race 2 weeks ago at Hockenheim.
Well, it's a busy little racetrack. It's 4 kilometres, 2.5 miles approximately. 14 corners. There's a lot of the racetrack which is open to track limit abuse, and there's been a lot of drivers have been penalised, at times removed from qualifying this morning as a consequence of this track limit abuse. So that's something that can have potential add-on penalties at the end of the race. Let's look at the racetrack quickly as they go around. Well, sector 1's gone, sector 2 are almost complete, 14 turns. The key to this racetrack is fundamentally it's a circuit for motorcycles. So all the entry curves and all the exit curves are virtually flat, and that's where we get this introduction of track limits.
Green light, go, go, go.
So everybody is aware of it, everybody will push the envelope. If you push it too far, you'll get a time.
And when you get to the race, it could be even more draconian with drive-through penalties. Now, Valentino Rossi knows his way around here on 2 wheels. He tested GT cars here at the back end of last season, and lots of his fans, as you would expect, are here to cheer him on. He will start the race today. He will do the second stint tomorrow. That is his qualifying time. He is the start driver. The grid has been shuffled a bit with grid drops from behavioural warning points, grid drops from offences this morning, and his car in the end will start 12th on the grid, sharing with Fred Verniche, the man with his back to us right now in the black shirt.
Well, the Valentino test here initially for WRTI, he was doing lap times approximately 1 minute 34 point whatever. To show how much he's improved in the space of the year, although we're not necessarily always seeing it when we see him behind the wheel, but he did a lap of 1:30.0 something or other this morning. So he's basically found in the space of a year the best part of 3 seconds, which is a significant amount of time for a driver coming into a sport which is diametrically opposite to that sport that he's been accustomed to make that level of improvement. So it's still a work in progress, and the team were very
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Simplay Motorsport as we now get ourselves underway for the second qualifying of the evening, where everyone can qualify here this evening. Only 5-minute qualifying sessions, so they got to get out there and get those lap times on the board. Obviously, they can give themselves a little bit of time, but obviously, the longer they take, the less likely they'll get 2 laps. But they'll get 2 laps, possibly 3. If they are lucky and are at the front like KLF. But he is the first one out, followed by the 2 Mercedes of Ian McGowan and Matthew Duffin, and then there's a whole heap of cars there as well. It's all about trying to get that track space out there. A few cars opt in to just wait a little bit longer, which is not necessarily a problem if you've got the confidence to get that lap time on the board. But it's getting a lap time on the board. That is the trick here. And that's really the format for these GT4s. Yes, it's a short qualifying session, but you still got to put that lap time on the board. You've still got to produce the lap. And these boys, it's back to the old Formula 1 days where they were told to go out one by one and just set the lap. Right now they're a little bit congested, but they're also racing against time. So it is going to be KLF to set the pace, as Dan Taylor staying in the pits at the stage while they're out completing their first qualifying laps. Matthew Duffin still lead the championship at 150 points. He's extended that lead ever so slightly to Skunky, but Will Friedman has cut that gap down to the pair of them. He's only 9 points behind Skunky, and he is looking to try and hunt down Matthew Duffin as much as he possibly can. 4th is Jamal Clouden, with 5th is Gary Leach, 6th is Hugh Darren, 7th is Kieran O'Reilly, 8th is Sam, and 9th is Andy. Sam, with that race win, bumps him up quite a few positions. He's not far off of getting past O'Reilly, should do so at the minute, and going to be chasing after Hugh Darren. Ian McGowan sat in 10th with Tipping in 11th. The Porsche of Old Sim Racer sat in 12th with Matt Wright 13th. 14th is Nuclear Way Stardog 15th with Dan Taylor in 16th. 17th is KLF with Diz in 18th. Rob Smith sat in 19th, while in 20th is DJ Phil. 21st is Susie Screen, while in 22nd is Matthew Collins. 23rd is the Mercedes of Darren Bell, with Rolo in that 24th position. Lucas 25th, while Shane is still in 26th. 27th is Sky Strondemeyer, 28th John Goudet, 29th Pontin, while in 30th is John Andrews, and Alistair Cummins in 31st, Steve Millington in 32nd, Rushton now in 33rd, 34th is Jamie, 35th is Robert Ramsell, and Beasley in that 36th position. Meanwhile, KLF not just trying to put a lap time on the board, he's also defending from the 2 Mercedes-Benz. Matthew Duffin's gone up the inside of McGowan, and is he going to go up the inside of KLF? He's going to compromise not his, but also KLF's lap time as well. But it's going to be Matt now to set the pace. Meanwhile, other cars in the background have given them time, space, and Jamal Clouden sets the pace at 139.7. Sorry, Friedman goes faster with 39.5. Matthew Duffin dropping down the order, Hugh Darren's on the pace, and Ian McGowan lost down on time as well. Skunky goes up into P4. Now all these guys will be able to get another lap time. Andy gets into 5th. Tipping gets a lap time on the board. Keep an eye out on other lap times as they all come towards the line now. Gary Leach now goes into P5. All these guys get a lap time. Steve Millington goes into 7th place. Susie Scream Stardog now 7th. Robert Ramsell goes 5th. And next is the Old Sim Racer just behind. All these guys will get another lap time. Dan Taylor choosing not to qualify. Old Sim Racer now going to 10th place. So all these guys on another lap. Sometimes they prep them for another run. The 177... I think that's Jamie back in the pits again, as DJ Phil goes 18th, and that looked like Nuclear Waste. He goes into P4. Get another lap time on the board for him. Sam is on a lap at the minute. We go back to this gaggle of cars. Matthew Duffin currently sat in 3rd at the minute. And this is the end of qualifying. Everyone will get another lap time on the board. But it's going to be Matthew Duffin. He does not improve and he bails to the pits. So who's it going to be next? Friedman is currently on pole position. He's on the back of Hugh Darren. Hugh Darren goes to 4th. So Will Friedman does improve as well on his lap time. Jamal Clouden wasn't improving. Skunky, meanwhile, he crosses the line and goes into 4th place. Tipping goes Andy and Tipping crosses the line. They improve in a couple of places. Sam to the line goes 9th. And that is Alistair goes into 12th place position. Gary Leach goes into 6th. Steve Millington crosses the line. He doesn't improve on 6th. Susie's Cream doesn't improve either. Nuclear Waste is one to keep an eye on. He took pole position earlier. Stardog doesn't improve. Old Sim Racer to the line. What's he got? He now goes up into 6th place position. So improved lap time from him. There is Nuclear Waste. He's one of the last few to set a lap time. And Jamie as well. To the line comes Nuclear Waste. He goes P3 and jumps Matthew Duffin. So we're just waiting on Jamie in the Aston Martin, currently 1.8 off the pace. Where is this going to put him in the order? Has he improved? He does improve, but doesn't change position. So it's Will Friedman taking pole position ahead of Clouden, ahead of Nuclear Waste. Duffin in 4th, with Skunky in 5th, Hugh Darren in 6th, Old Sim Racer 7th, Steve Millington in 8th, Gary Leach in 9th, and Robert Ramsell in 10th. Ian McGowan in 11th, with Sam in 12th, Andy 13th. Alistair will start 14th. 15th is Stardog, Jamie 16th, Tipping 17th, 18th Susie's Cream, 19th Rolo, KLF 20th, Rob Smith in 21st, DJ Phil 22nd, Dan Taylor 23rd, and Matthew Collins in 24th position. Excuse me. Still got this nasty cough. I'm just still trying to get rid of it. And with these guys racing so hard and close to each other, it's making it difficult. As I will get a poll going for you. Winner of race 2. Get your votes in on who you think that one will be. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well. And don't forget our fantastic sponsors in the description below as well. Design Manchester's and Audio Sport as well. But Will Friedman on the front row. This is going to give him a great opportunity to try and claw some points back in this championship.
20 seconds.
And there you go, guys. There is a poll up on who you think is going to win this second race. And again, reminder of our fantastic sponsors in the description. Design Manchester produces the vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much, much more, including Simplay merchandise. There is their Facebook link. Audio Sport, manufacturers of VW Transporter, T4 audio solutions, and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk. And also their Facebook link is in the chat as well. If you do want to be a part of the action here at Simplay Motorsport, then head over to our SimGrid and our Discord page as well and get yourself signed up to any of the championships that you fancy, and keep an eye out for the new year as well. We race on a Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, and at the minute we have the GT4s on a Tuesday, Pro-Am on a Thursday, on a Wednesday, and the Pros on a Thursday night. The Pro-Am and Pros also will be hitting the track of Valencia this week. Although Valencia had some horrible floods recently, it's looking beautiful weather here for our racing, and obviously this is based off live weather as well. And with Will Friedman on pole position, that's a point to him. If he takes fastest lap, that's another point. And how far away can he pull away from this gap? He needs a few of the guys to try and get between him and Matthew Duffin in this championship to bring that gap down, to take it right to the very end of Donington Park, where in parts of the UK we've had snow. So The weather in winter is going to look very, very interesting nonetheless, especially we've got 2 final rounds at Autumn Park and Donington Park. So they could be wet ones. You may see what happens there. Excuse me. As they now come into the final sector, they'll be told to get in double formation now. So yeah, get your votes in on who you think is going to win this one. Friedman looking very, very powerful here, and we'll see how he manages to get on in this one. Can he pull away from Clouden and Matthew Duffin? That is the question. As they come out of the final quarter now, 2x2 is Porsche and Chevy, and Germany versus America. Clouden versus Friedman. Who is going to win this one? Hit that like button, guys. This is going to be an epic one. Friedman, Clouden, front row, waiting for the green. We are green and go here for the second time in Valencia as you head down towards turn number 1. The Chevy Camaro should have the grunt going down to turn number 1. If Clouden's got the jump, he's going to try and go around the outside, but Friedman makes the corner, and Nuclear Waste also making the corner, forcing Matthew Duffin wide. Matthew keeps his foot pinned to try and keep the position, but he's still on the outside, and a lot of cars going into turn number 2. And they're all somehow managing to come out of it, but Friedman and Clouden pull away as Skunky's looking to try and make a move as Matthew Duffin up the inside of Nuclear Waste. Old Sim Racer's come through as well. So Old Sim Racer's gone up the inside as Skunky drops down the order a little bit. Who Darren's ended up dropping down the order as well, as the timing boards will now start to update, and there's literally GT4 cars everywhere. Gary Leach did get ahead of Old Sim Racer, and Old Sim Racer now has dropped down the order. So Gary Leach has been the man on the move, and that's how Duffin just disappeared from this gaggle of cars. And looks like Steve Millington's there as well. He's looking to the outside of Nuclear Waste. So Nuclear Waste getting swamped by the pack there and just being absolutely mugged left, right and centre. The Mercedes goes through now. Steve Millington on the wrong side. Will Freeman's run wide. Gary Leach has run wide. So many cars running wide and making mistakes here as the top 3 try and disappear. Up towards the final circle, Ian McGowan there, running a little bit wide there, as everyone else just thunders their way through. And down towards the final corner we go. Oh, Ian McGowan's gone off. That's going to allow all the Aston Martins, and he's gone off big time. He's trying to hold it together, but he's ended up in the wall. Big damage for him as Will Friedman still leads away from Clouden, from Duffin. As those two now disappear into the sunset. Can Old Sim Racer try and hunt them down? Skunky's there with Leach, Nuclear Waste and Robert Ramsdell. Ian McGowan's returned back to the pits. And Steve Millington just on the back of his fellow teammate as Nuclear Waste and Sam. We got a FBR and Cam Racing sandwich going on here. As Hugh Darren's going around the outside of Alistair. They rub doors, they bang together. And is Alistair going to be on the right side of Hugh Darren? Hugh Darren stays to the inside and gets the job done. Stardog's in the middle of all this as well. There's so many cars in the middle of this fight, as they're all trying to find a position. There's going to be an accident here in a minute, and Alistair and Hugh Darren are still going at it. And Rob Smith just trying to get into terms of what's going on at the front here. Oh, Hugh Darren's gone off big time. He's had a big moment, but he manages to collect it together and get going once again. But meanwhile, while we've been looking at this, Jamal Clouden now leads this race from Will Freeman, and Matthew Duffin's just onto the back of him. And Will Friedman now going to have to come back for a fight at Jamal Clouden. Skunky has now cleared Gary Leach and Nuclear Waste, so he's on the move. Is Skunky, can he catch the top 2? Matthew Duffin says fastest lap of the race. Meanwhile, Old Sim Racer has got a fight going on with Robert Ramsdell, who's going to look to the inside of turn number 1. He's side by side with the Porsche driver. He's going to look up the inside now, and he's going to get that job done. Is he going to make the corner though? He does, but Old Sim Racer looking to the inside. Can he get the job done in turn number 2? As he changes camera, and Old Sim Racer up the inside. Job done. As Robert Ramsdell, is he going to still be on the outside? He is, but he will lose the position. And now under pressure from Sam. And Steve Millington now looking at Sam, but he swaps to the outside. Back to the front, Friedman has got past Clouden once again. So Clouden dropped behind the position, Duffin just on the background watching this fight unfold. In the exact position that he needs to be. He does not need to win this race. He does not need to be in front of these boys. He's doing everything he needs to do at the minute. Skunky, meanwhile, is on a mission to try and catch the leaders. Gary Leach and Nuclear Waste at the minute, just at the back of this group. And Skunky, I think he had a moment or something because he's all over the shot there. As whoa! Gary Leach up onto 2 wheels. Whoa! And through goes Nuclear Waste. Gary Leach on 2 wheels. What a lad. He doesn't need 4 wheels, he just needs 2. As once again Jamal Clouden gets that straight line advantage from the Chevy Camaro, but he's not quite close enough, and he's going to have to sit behind Friedman a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Skunky has no answer to the top 3 at the minute. I can't believe what I've just witnessed for Gary. That was brilliant. And he's got back past Nuclear Waste as well, so he's not slowed him down being on 2 wheels. Old Sim Racer still under pressure from Ramsdell, from Sam, from Millington, and now Alistair's caught onto the back of him. Yeah, Skunky not really catching the leaders at all at this stage. Oh, there's Tipping and Jamie. And Jamie, that's a very unsafe rejoin there. Cutting across a couple of cars there. And Jamie running wide there. And Tipping and Jamie, I don't know what happened there, but all sorts of chaos. But Friedman now still leading this race now after regaining it back from Jamal Clouden. And Clouden now just seems to just lose a little bit of pace here to the Porsche driver. Friedman just probably getting his tyres in the right window, and now starting to get into a little bit of a groove here. And Friedman crosses the line, fastest lap of the race. Yes, it is. And he's pulling away from the guys behind. Gary Leach is still ahead of Nuclear Waste once again. Nuclear Waste up the inside of Gary Leach. He's got to be careful that Ginetta doesn't end up on 2 wheels. But up the inside goes Nuclear Waste. Gary's going to probably come back for the cutback. Yes, he is. He's swooped underneath. He's there on the inside, and Gary Leach gets that position back once again. He loves racing in this Ginetta, and he swoops up the inside and gets that job done. Nuclear Waste has to think of something else. Meanwhile, Old Sim Racer has still got Robert Ramsdell, Sam and Steve Millington and Alistair all breathing down his neck. He went from attacking to now in race 2. He's defending heavily at the minute. But back to the front. Friedman extending the gap now. Half a second to Clouden, and Clouden has no real answer at this stage of the race. Matthew Duffin just hanging in there onto the top 3. Skunky, no real answer in that Ginetta, as Gary Leach and Nuclear Waste are still going at it tooth and nail. As these two have dropped right off the back of Nuclear Waste. Sorry, they dropped off the back of Skunky. Gary's actually managed to survive that. Gary Clarbo in the chat. Gary did well to hold 2-wheel during that journey. Yes, he did. Nuclear Waste looked to the inside of Gary 131. No opportunity there. And Friedman now defending heavily from Skunky as they head from Clouden as they head down towards turn number 1. They've pulled away from Duffin, so Matt has no answer to the leaders at the minute, even while they're scrapping, and Clouden can't find a way through. Oh, Matt's gone very wide there, very wide, and that's compromised his run through turn 2. And just giving time away to Skunky. Meanwhile, Gary Leach and Nuclear Waste still going at it. We go back to Robert Ramsell, who's lost touch with Old Sim Racer. He's now defending from Sam and his teammate Steve Millington. Alistair's still there, so these guys seem to be in kind of a somewhat DRS train, even though there's no DRS in these cars. But your running order at the minute: Will Friedman leading the way from Clouden, from Duffin, from Skunky, from Gary Leach, from Nuclear Waste, from Old Sim Racer, from Robert Ramsell, from Sam, from Steve Millington, from Alistair Cummings, from Andy, from Hugh Darren, from Stardog, from Dan, from KLF, from Tipping, from Rolo, to Matthew Collins, DJ Phil, Jamie, Old Sim Racer, and Susie's Cream. They clearly got damage to their cars, and Ian McGowan's got back out on track as well after that damage at the start of the race. We are halfway through this race, and it's Will Friedman leading the way. Matthew Duffin lost touch to the leaders now. Was there at the beginning. And if anything, he's got to keep his eye on Skunky behind if he starts to gain on the leaders. While these guys are all scrapping, Andy has been towing Hugh Darren and Stardog back onto this train of cars in front of him, led by Robert Ramsell, who's just creeped back onto Old Sim Racer once again. As they go through into the middle sector once again, Jamal Clouden's got within 3/10 of Will Friedman. That Chevy Camaro looking mighty at this stage. Skunky has actually brought the gap down to Duffin, so he's coming back at him at the minute. Nuclear Waste still on the back of Gary. No room for improvement for any of those guys. We've got the Aston Martin train hunting down Old Sim Racer. Oh, Friedman's gone wide. Friedman's gone very wide in the right-hander. And that should allow Jamal Clouden to look up the inside towards the kink, and he'll get the job done. He goes on 2 wheels. They both run wide. And Friedman pushing the Chevy now as they head down towards the final corner. Friedman looking to the outside to try and get a better run, a better exit out of the final corner. And he managed to do so. Clouden runs a little bit wide. Friedman knows that Chevy's strong in a straight line straight into the slipstream. And again, while they're fighting, the 3.5 was the gap. Matthew Duffin does gain a little bit, but not a lot, as Clouden defends the inside. And once again, the tide has changed, and it's gone to the hands of Clouden. But Friedman does seem to have a good raw pace in that Porsche. As we've lost Sam. Sam's dropped down the order, so maybe contact possibly, or a mistake. He's dropped down the order. It's now Robert Ramsell and Steve Millington going for bragging rights at this stage, and Alistair's just behind them. Andy has managed to catch onto the back of Alistair, which has built this train up once again. And Jamal Clouden now leading the race, and he's got Will Friedman breathing down his neck. Waiting for any opportunity to make a mistake, and Friedman will be there to capitalise. Friedman has the fastest lap. He could do with the race win as well to his name, and try and bring that championship gap down to Matthew Duffin. Luck's been on his side this season, has Matthew. Not really been involved in any incidences, unlike others. The 420, who is that? That is Susie's Cream. Track limit warning, and it's given him a drive-through now as Jamie stopped on the side. But Jamal Clouden wanting another win to his name. And Will Friedman wants a win to his name as well. Once again, the gap has increased to Matthew Duffin. The gap is maintained between Matt and Skunky. Who was that? Andy had a moment there, and he's going to be under pressure from Who Darren. Through goes Who Darren. Tipping is just behind, a bit behind Dan Taylor, who's on the back of this fight at the minute. And into the middle sector they go. And again, once again, these two just swapping positions here and there. Clouden gets the advantage, then it's Will, and then it's Clouden again, as they just pull away from Duffin. Matthew's got no answer, but again, like I said, he can be happy in P3 at the minute. He doesn't have to worry about nothing. Andy currently in 11th place at the minute. Is he going to look to try and make a move on Who Darren? It's not close enough. Friedman once again onto the back wing of Jamal Clouden. Possibly pushing the limits there in the Porsche. And the 420 of Suzy Scream has cleared his drive-through. Once again, out the final corner they come. These two pulling away from Matthew. Matthew in the background might be wanting to look behind his mirrors a little bit. Skunky has brought the gap down ever so slightly. Gary seems to have Nuclear Waste covered at this stage. Oldstone Racer still ahead of the Aston Martins. And then it's Who Darren in a little spot of bother. He's got a training cars breathing down his neck. He's got Andy, Alistair, Stardog and Dan Taylor all are right behind. KLF's having a fight with Sam at the moment. As once again we go to your leaders. Will Friedman pushing as hard as he can to try and find a way through on Jamal Cloud, but can't seem to find that door, that kind of sneaky position to just work his way through. Oh, and Will Freeman goes a little bit deep there, and Clouden will gain a little bit of an advantage there. He pulls away ever so slightly. Who Darren still pressurised by Andy, Alistair, Cummings, Stardog and Taylor. As they go through the kink. And Who Darren doing everything he needs to do at this stage. The Aston Martin seem relatively content in where they are. And once again, Skunky's brought the gap down. Not enough though. Not really enough to pose threat, as once again Nuclear Waste is going to continue his fight with Gary 131 as they head towards turn number 1. And Gary runs wide. Nuclear Waste going to look to the inside of turn 2. He's not far enough alongside and can't get the job done. Meanwhile, Sam, KLF and Rolo are battling it out at the minute. Rolo's now going to the inside. KLF's going back to the outside. Sam is behind the pair of them. And KLF swoops it into turn 1. He runs wide. And Rolo will have to stay behind KLF for the meantime. And Sam goes back up the inside of Rolo. Rolo's going to stick to the outside. Rolo's going to try and have then the inside to turn number 4. And Sam gets the job done. Now I have to come back to that once again. And Jamal Clouden hangs in there once again from Will Friedman. And they both run wide there. A slight mistake from the pair of them. But Friedman's got the momentum, got the run. Meanwhile, Duffin's under pressure now, starting to be caught by Skunky. But I think it's too little too late. Robert Ramsdell now starting to be under pressure from his own teammate Steve Millington. Right behind them, you'll see these two tomorrow night in the Pro-Am category. And Friedman once again within a 10 of Clouden as they head up towards turn number 1. This will probably be the last lap of the race. And Friedman sneaked up the inside. He made Clouden defend the inside, compromise his exit, and Friedman's up the inside of turn 2. Clouden's going to be on the outside. He's going to try and keep it strong, but he's run wide. Friedman's on the inside. That will give him the position going into the next couple of corners as Hugh Darren gets a drive-through for track limits, and Jamal Clouden loses the lead, possibly on the last lap here, and Skunky's caught Duffin. Meanwhile, Ramsell and Millington are still going at it for 8th and 9th. And DJ Phil was on the back of Matthew Collins, but he's dropped back. So Friedman retakes the lead just at the very end there. But Friedman and Clouden just pulled away from Duffin even while they were fighting, and have been on it since lap 1 here. And Friedman just has to make sure he hits every apex here. Nuclear Waste still can't find a way past Gary Leach. And Andy is now onto the back of Steve Millington because Robert Ramsell has dropped behind them. And Robert Ramsell's run wide. Up the inside will go Alistair and Stardog. Dan Taylor wasn't quite close enough. Friedman, meanwhile, exits the final corner. This is going to be the end of the race. Will Friedman and Jamal Clouden take a bow. Brilliant racing, and it's Friedman who wins the race. Clouden will finish in 2nd. Matthew Duffin is going to finish in 3rd place, with Skunky just at the very end catching him. And Gary Leach is going to just hang on ahead of Nuclear Waste in 5th and 6th place. A brilliant drive from those two. Old Sim Racer is going to come home for 7th place, with Steve Millington in 8th, Andy 9th, Alistair in 10th, Stardog, Dan, Robert Ramsell, and then tipping in 14th place position. KLF still defending from Rolo. Sam's dropped back, but it's going to be KLF who hangs in there for a 15th place position ahead of Rolo in 16th. Then it's going to be Hugh Darren to finish in 17th place position. Sam in the end for 18th place. Matthew Collins will finish in 19th. Rob Smith, will finish in 21st. DJ Phil was 20th. And Jamie will finish in 22nd. Susie's Cream, 23rd. Ian McGowan did complete 24th. And that was race 2. But it was Will Friedman taking the win and trying to cut that gap down to Matthew Duffin. We'll be back in a few moments' time as we'll get race 3 underway. We'll see you shortly.
Two 1-hour races, 2 drivers per car, and that means that there is a mandatory pit stop between 25 and 35 minutes of the race. You have to change all 4 wheels to tyres, and if you're in the overall category, there is no minimum pit stop time. There is in Pro-Am, 61 seconds. Once those driver changes are completed, the car blasts back onto the circuit. The classes, well, there is the overall situation, which is for the pros. Then you've got the Silver Cup, and there is Pro-Am to score points within those classes. It means that everybody has something to fight for, and even if you're an AM, you've still got the chance of going home having been on the top step of the podium.
Green light, go, go, go.
Cars from 6 manufacturers, Audi, Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren, Mercedes and Porsche are all on the grid. Fanatec GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS, is part of the global competition. That is led by Mercedes AMG from Audi Sport and then Ferrari. The grid is forming then as the cars make their way from the long pit lane around onto the circuit. It's not the sunniest of days, but it's dry, it's warm, and the teams are about to do battle in this penultimate 60-minute race. It could be that the championship overall is decided in this race if the number 32 Audi can outscore the Acodis ASP Mercedes by a further 6 points that have moved it out of reach going into tomorrow's race. But John Watson, anything can happen in this championship, as we saw in the endurance race 2 weeks ago at Hockenheim.
Well, it's a busy little racetrack. It's 4 kilometres, 2.5 miles approximately, 14 corners, and there's a lot of the racetrack which is open to track limit limit abuse, and there's been a lot of drivers have been penalised, at times removed from qualifying this morning as a consequence of this track limit abuse. So that's something that can have potential add-on penalties at the end of the race. Let's look at the racetrack quickly as they go around. Well, sector 1's gone, sector 2 are almost complete, 14 turns. The key to this racetrack is fundamentally it's a circuit for motorcycles. So all the entry curves and all the exit curves are virtually flat, and that's where we get this introduction of track limit abuse coming from. So everybody is aware of it, everybody will push the envelope. If you push it too far, you'll get a time removed.
When you get to the race, it could be even more draconian with drive-through penalties. Now, Valentino Rossi knows his way around here on two wheels. He tested GT cars here at the back end of last season, and lots of his fans, as you would expect, are here to cheer him on. And he will start the race today. He will do the second stint tomorrow. That is his qualifying time. He is the start driver. The grid has been shuffled a bit with grid drops from behavioural warning point, grid drops from offences this morning, and his car in the end will start 12th on the grid, sharing with Fred Verdish, the man with his back to us right now in the black shirt.
Well, when Valentino tested here initially for WRTRD, he was doing lap times approximately 1 minute 34 point whatever. To show how much he's improved in the space of the year, although we're not necessarily always seeing it when we see him behind the wheel, but he did a lap of 1:30.0 something or other this morning. So he's basically found in the space of a year the best part of 3 seconds, which is a significant amount of time for a driver coming into a sport which is diametrically opposite to that of the one that he's been accustomed to make that level of improvement. So it's still a work in progress, and the team were very impressed by his approach and the way that he has delegated his own responsibilities to seeking out information, to use that information to try and improve himself.
And he has improved, and the pace has always been pretty good. So let's see what he can do in this final race of sprint races. Right now, Timur Boguslavski penalty this morning for blocking another car. He will start 20th in the championship to win. He's with Gemma Scott.
Timur, obviously it's a big weekend ahead of you. The championship is still to be decided. We're all the way back on the 10th row of the grid. Do you feel that the penalty that you've suffered is fair?
For me, like, I was have a misunderstanding, honestly, like in qualifying and since briefing, because the rules are changing every time, but no one from drivers are changing their lines. So, and I take some honestly stupid penalty, but it's stupid, so it doesn't matter too much. But they are saying like you need to keep racing speed at the third sector, and the car in front of me like start to slow down, so I also need to slow down to make a gap. And car behind on me was blocked because of me. So.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tough race ahead, and of course the challenge is to peel your way through the traffic now.
Yeah, Audi is, say, quite faster than us here, so, and yeah, for sure it will be tough for me, but you never know, so until the end.
Thank you very much. Have a good race.
Had to work quite a bit for it. I mean, it's obviously also the new car since this year, so we had to figure out a bit how to work with it and how to get it fast. And the Mercedes have been very strong all season. It's been not easy to beat them, but we did a few times, and I think we are where we are. I think we deserve a bit to have these points. We had to work for it, so hopefully we can end it well.
We already have
Green light, go, go, go.
to make it 3. We know Valencia is a good track for the Mercedes, and not so much for the Audi, but we also know we have an evolution from last year. So yeah, let's see how it goes, but I believe we can just be consistent.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Simplay Motorsport, and we're going to bring you the action once again here into the third and final qualifying session of the evening. The final race of the night here at Valencia. It is going to come down to this. Championship standings has been updated. Sadly, we are losing Skunky in the last race. He sadly has to go pick up his son, but it's looking like this in the championship. Matthew Duffin still leading the way. gap is slightly come down to Will Friedman now, who sits second in the championship. He's 148 points behind, but all it takes is one bad round and you're back in this championship fight. We've got Skunky still in that third place position with Jamal Clouden in fourth, Gary Leach in fifth, sixth is Hugh Darren, seventh is Andy, eighth is Sam. Kieran O'Reilly now drops down to ninth with Tipping in 10th. Ian McGowan sat in 11th place with Old Sim Racer in 12th. Aston Martin and Nuclear Waste in 13th with Matt Wright in 14th. 15th is Stardog with the Alpine of Dan Taylor in 16th. KLF in 17th place position, with the 18th going to Rob Smith, while Diz drops down to 19th. In 20th is DJ Phil, 21st is Matthew Collins, and in 22nd is Susie Scream. Darren Taylor in 23rd position with Rolo in 24th. 25th is Lucas, while in 26th is Shane. 27th is Sky Shundermeyer, 28th is John Goudet. Pontin is now in 29th. Stephen Millington in 30th. 31st is John Andrews. Alistair Cummings in 32nd. Robert Ramsell in 33rd. Jamie in 34th. Excuse me. And Rushton in 35th. Beasley in that 36th position. From Skunky, from Shane all the way down in 26th, all the way down the order, are now mathematically out of the championship. And it's getting to that point of the season where people are going to start losing out. A few guys opting to stay in the pits: Dan Taylor, KLF, Matthew Collins, Rolo, and Susie Scream, all in the pits at the minute, thinking that probably their best bet is not to qualify. Jamal Clouden will be the first one to set the pace, I believe. Yeah, I believe he will. Gary Leach is in front of these lot, but I'm not sure he's on a lap. But we'll stay on board with him just in case he is, as we go into this final qualifying session and this final race this evening. Will Friedman seems to have a little bit of momentum on his side. Can he keep it going and start to bring that gap down to the Mercedes driver of Matthew Duffing? That is the question. As Gary comes to the line, did he have a lap time on the board? No, he doesn't. So we're going to look to Jamal Clouden, who's going to set the pace first. Crosses the line. No lap time on the board. Matthew Duffin, no, he goes up into P1 with a 39.8. Ian McGowan, no, straight away into the top. He does 39.5, so he has got pace in that car. Tipping is also on a lap. Alistair has gone into P4. Sam, P5. And who is that in the background? I know we've got Friedman crosses line. He now goes into P2. We've got Robert Ramsell next to the line. He goes P4 with Steve Millington also on a lap. He crosses into 5th, Tipping 6th, and Hugh Darren into 7th. And Rob Smith now crossing the line. He goes in 11th place position, with Stardog now crossing in 5th place. Where is Old Sim Racer? He now comes to the line, and he only manages to go 12th, but he will get another lap. This will be their one and only shot at a lap. Not sure who that was as well crossing the line. I believe it may have been... Not sure who it was at all. But it is McGowan who's setting the pace at the minute, currently on provisional pole. And where is Jamal Clouden? He is going through this sector here, and he's made a mistake. So, oh no, he hasn't. He's catching Gary Leach. My bad. So Jamal Clouden on a lap. Gary Leach also on a lap. Is he going to sneak in one more lap? No, he's not. So this is going to be the one and only lap for Gary Leach. What is it going to be? Comes to the line, 22nd at the minute. He crosses the line, and he goes P4 just behind Matthew Duffin. Next will be Jamal Clouden. He goes fastest overall, top of the times he goes. Andy will go into 7th. McGowan, has he improved? No. Nuclear Waste next. Oh no, it's Sam next to the line. Can he get a bit ahead of the other guys? He goes up into 3rd. Alistair goes into 13th. Is that Friedman in the background? Yes, it is. He now goes pole position once again. So it's a repeat of earlier on. And towards the line comes Robert Ramsell. He goes 7th. Steve Millington goes ahead of Duffin. What can Tipping do? He goes into a P10. And who's that just behind them? That looks like Rob Smith. It is. He crosses line to go 16th. Here comes Old Sim Racer, and then it is Nuclear Waste. Old Sim Racer to the line, no improvement. What can Nuclear Waste do right at the end here? He stays 7th, and that is that. Who's on a lap? That is DJ Phil, the last one on a lap time. But once again, it is Will Friedman at the front, ahead of Jamal Clouden, ahead of Ian McGowan. Steve Middleton with a great qualifying session to get ahead of Matthew Duffin there. And Matthew Duffin now a little bit in the pack. Might make him a little bit vulnerable here. And to the line comes DJ Phil. He gets a lap time on the board and he will start in 17th place position. Excuse me. And that is the end of qualifying, and it is Will Friedman from pole. Once again, Jamal Clouden sharing the front row with him, with Ian McGowan this time behind, with Steve Middleton in 4th. Duffin will start in 5th from Leach, from Waste, from Ramsell, Andy, Tipping. And that rounds out your top 10. Who Darren in 11th, Stardog in 12th, Sam in 13th, Alistair in 14th, Old Sim Racer in 15th, Rob Smith in 16th, with DJ Phil in 17th, KLF in 18th, Susie's Cream in 19th, Dan Taylor in 20th, Matthew Collins in 21st, Rolo 22nd, and Jamie at the back of the pack in 23rd place. Another chance for Will Friedman and Jamal Clouden to try and bring the gap down to Matthew Duffin. No Skunky this time round. He'll be missing in this one. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Friedman? Is it going to be Jamal? Is Jamal Clouden going to get his payback after race 1? A great fight between these two. Or is Ian McGowan going to get involved in this fight? Is he going to start giving a little bit of a headache to the leaders?
It's still a work in progress, and the team were very impressed by his approach and the way he has
10 seconds.
delegated his own responsibilities
And there you go, guys. There is a poll. Who you think is going to win this one?
to try and improve himself.
Excuse me. Excuse the coughing, guys. I apologise for that. As Friedman now pulls away, Jamal Clouden goes with him.
A big weekend ahead of you. The championship is still to be decided. We're all the way back to the 10th row of the grid. Do you feel that the penalty is
As they get themselves prepped and ready to go in this one. Reminder, guys, if you haven't done so, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at Simplay Motorsport. As they now work their way through the first sector, and have a look in the description below as well for our fantastic sponsors: Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics and laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much more, including Simplay merchandise. Audio Sport as well, manufacturers of VW Transporter, T4 audio solutions and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk and have a look on their Facebook page as well. If you want to be a part of the action here at Simplay Motorsport, then head over to our Discord and the SimGrid as well. And also we've got all sorts of racing still here at Valencia to come. We head obviously to the Pro-Ams tomorrow night. They'll be hitting the circuit tomorrow, and then obviously the pros on Thursday night as well. It is hot and tasty in the GT3s and the Pro-Am and Pro category. Currently in the Pro-Am, it is Richie Michelle leading the way, but Dennis Hansen is bringing the gap down, and Robert Smith isn't a million miles away either. Regarding the pro category, it is Skunky. Still trying to hunt down myself in the championship, but Harris seems to have a little bit of form to him as well, as he's starting to catch us up in the championship. But as we enter into the final corner now, it is once again Friedman and Clouden on the front row here. Who is going to come out on top? That is the question. It is once again Chevy versus Porsche, Germany versus America. Who is going to come out on top as we wait for the green?
Green light, green light.
And we are green and go for the third and final time tonight here in Valencia. And Clouden's got the jump as they head down towards turn number 1. Gary Leach right onto the back of Matthew Duffin and swoops down the inside, looks to try and get the job done into turn number 2, as they're also on the back of Steve Millington and Ian McGowan. And up the inside, oh, that's Robert Ramsell, who's been spun round, and everyone else has been congested up as they all managed to get their way through. DJ Phil didn't make the start as they all worked their way through. There goes Dan Taylor, he's gone off as well, but it's Jamal Clouden once again leading the way. But Will Freeman already right onto the back bumper of that Chevy Camaro. Down towards the middle, so Ian McGowan's had a little bit of a twitch and dropped down the order, as has Matthew Duffin. He's in a little bit in the firing line. What has happened to Ian McGowan? He slowed right down and dropped behind the group in front. So Ian McGowan has dropped quite a bit. Not sure why. He's looking quite slow there. But Jamal Clouden leading away from Friedman, and Clouden's gone wide. Friedman's going to look up the inside. Gary Leach has gone wide, and up the inside, looking like it's nuclear waste on Matthew Duffin. Yes, it is. But Stephen Millington up into third place now with Gary Leach right behind him. Where is Ian McGowan? He's just dropped off the order. He has probably got, I don't know what happened there, but he's dropped down the order. Matthew Duffin up the inside of Gary Leach. What can he do about Steve Millington? That is the question. But it is Clouden leading the way now from Friedman, and their fight resumes. Down towards turn number 1, and once again Clouden just pulling away from Freeman. Steve Millington has got Duffin, Leach, and Nuclear Waste not a million miles behind either. As they look into turn number 2, Duffin up the inside of Steve Millington. Possibly a little bit of contact there, and Gary goes up the inside with Duffin. And Stephen Millington dropping down the order. He's now under pressure from Nuclear Waste and Hugh Darren as well. Ian McGowan starting himself back into a little bit of momentum here, but everyone else working their way through the order. And DJ Phil back into the pits again. But it's Jamal Clouden from Friedman, from Duffin, from Leach, from Steve Millington, from Nuclear Waste, from Hugh Darren, from McGowan, Stardog, Andy, Tipping, Sam, Alistair, and Old Sim Racer. KLF running out the top 15, and he's been tapped by Jamie. Jamie pushing his way through there. He's backed off as well, and more contact there. Oh, Sam looks like he's had a moment as well, so Sam's gone off. And Jamie's dropped down the order. Meanwhile, Will Friedman has got no answer to Jamal Clouden. As everyone works their way down into the final few corners. Matthew Duffin going very defensive there already. I'm not sure why. Trying to possibly break the toe from the Ginetta of Gary Leach. And meanwhile, Hugh Darren is on the attack of Nuclear Waste. He's going to look to the outside. He's going to try and outbreak him. He's made contact with Stephen Millington. And while all this is going on, they're holding themselves up. Stephen Millington's gone off. Hugh Darren's gone off. And that's just allowing Matthew and Gary to pull away from this gaggle of cars and get away from that danger. And once again on the inside, looking like it's going to be Andy, looking up the inside of Stephen Millington. He can't get the job done, and Hugh Darren's there just behind him as well. Stardog has had a good run through here as well. He's now on the back of Ian McGowan, who seems to have found some pace once again after just dropping off ever so randomly at the start of the race. Meanwhile, Clouden and Friedman once again resuming their battle. Friedman looks like he's gained on the back. Duffin has got pressure from Leach. Nuclear Waste ahead of McGowan, ahead of Stardog, ahead of Stephen Millington, Andy from Hugh Darren tipping. Alistair, Old Sim Racer, Sam. Then it is KLF ahead of Rob, ahead of Rolo, ahead of Susie's Cream and Jamie, who have come together. Matthew Collins from Dan Taylor, Robert Ramsell at the back, and then DJ Phil, who's pitted twice already in this race. But once again, down towards the main straight we go to complete another tour around this circuit. Clouden leads the way, but Will Friedman sets fastest lap of the race. Matthew Duffin now going wheel to wheel with Gary Leach. Duffin should have the advantage in a straight line. The Ginetta not very strong in a straight line, but Gary will have the grip and confidence going into turn number 1. Looking for an opportunity. Is he going to go up the inside? No, he's not. And waits for a better opportunity than that. Meanwhile, Ian McGowan still on the back of Nuclear Waste. Meanwhile, Hugh Darren's up the inside of Andy. Has he got that job done? Yeah, not quite. They're still side by side. Going into the kick, Hugh Darren should have the inside, but Andy will send it up the inside. Hugh Darren cuts underneath and goes back up the inside of the white Ginetta, and he eventually gets the job done. And Alistair just sat behind them as well, tipping in that 12th position with Old Sim Racer and Sam all just there. KLF's not a million miles away from this fight either. As once again we see the top couple of cars getting closer. It's Ian McGowan's lost the place to Stardog, so Stardog has now got in front of Ian, and Gary Leach has sent it on Duffin, and through goes Gary Leach into 3rd place position. Through the kink they go, and Duffin's going to try and come back at Gary. Up the inside goes Matthew Duffin. He's going to get the job done into the final corner. Gary's going to have to give him the space, and through the final corner they go. Duffin's run a little bit conservative there, and they make contact. Matt not really giving Gary enough racing room there, I don't think. And Matt there having to bail out of the throttle, but once again Friedman is right on the rear wing of Clouden. Stardog once again has lost position for Ian McGowan, and Steve Millington has got back past them as they're still trying to hunt down Nuclear Waste. And he'll run through the first couple of corners. Jamal Clouden and Friedman once again going at it, first and second. Friedman on the back bumper of Jamal Clouden. They got a 7.5 gap over Gary Leach, who's got back past ahead of Matthew Duffin once again. Into the left-hander they go. Will Friedman looks like he's got another great run on the Chevy Camaro, but he can't seem to find a way through that big brute of an American muscle, and stuck behind him he is. Meanwhile, Gary Leach still defending from Matthew Duffin as Nuclear Waste is just behind them. Nuclear Waste now starting to look a little bit more interested. As Matt and Gary run wide there through the kink. And here comes Nuclear Waste. He's now onto the scene. So what's turned into a two-way fight is now a three-way fight. And they are just dropping themselves further back into this pack of cars. But luckily for them, Nuclear Waste had a poor exit. Friedman and Clouden once again going at it towards turn number 1. Is Friedman going to look to the inside of turn number 2? No, he goes to the outside. Clouden defends the inside, tries to get a better exit. Are they side by side? No, Friedman swooping, looking left and right. He can't find a way through as Duffin's still defending from Leach, who's got Nuclear Waste. Now Stardog's joined the party, and everyone else as well, all the way down to Alistair. Sam is in this fight as well, with tipping Old Sim Racer and KLF now sweeping onto the back of this. So they're all starting to slowly creep onto the fight of Matthew Duffin and Gary Leach, who are still going at it. Jamal Clouden and Will Friedman into the left-hander. into the right-hander they go as well. Friedman can't find the gap, as once again Matthew Duffin back ahead of Leach. Leach can't find a way through at this stage, but again, once they're all fighting, the pack seems to get congested. And as soon as Matthew Duffin makes one mistake, the whole pack is going to be on him. The entire pack, and Gary Leach is going to be ready to pick up the pieces. Excuse me, starting to lose my voice now.
Halfway mark, still a long way to go. As
Nuclear Waste has gone wide in the final corner, so Gary can now purely focus on Duffin. Clouden and Friedman once again going at it into turn number 1. Clouden and Friedman looking for any opportunity for Friedman to go up the inside. Is he alongside enough? No, he's not. As Duffin stays also, he's built a bit of a gap to Leach, as now Stardog is onto the back of Nuclear Waste. So Stardog's got some pace in that portion now. Suddenly from nowhere, he's learnt the lines. He's working his way through. McGowan and Hugh Darren are just behind them as well. Loads of fights going on. Meanwhile, KLF has caught onto the back of, he was on the back of Old Sim Racer. He's dropped behind, he's just ahead of Rolo and Rob Smith. So KLF just having his own little fight. Oh, and Rob Smith and Rolo have come together. Contact there. DJ Phil getting well out of the way of the leaders at the minute. And right to do so at that. And out of the pits comes, I believe that is Jamie. Yes, it is. Jamie comes out of the pits, possibly with some damage, but these two carrying on. DJ trying to stay out of the way of the leaders, as we got Duffin and Leach still going at it, and Gary Leach trying to recoup himself, and Stardog up the inside of Nuclear Waste. An interesting place to do it, but he gets the job done. McGowan now gets through as well, as will Hugh Darren by the looks of things. Yes, he will. And again, as I've said, as soon as you make one little mistake, the pack will swamp you up and spit you back out. So Nuclear Waste gone from possibly attacking Gary Leach, now dropping behind this gaggle of cars, and Gary Leach now dropping off the back of Matthew Duffin, as Will Friedman and Clouden going at it once again, side by side through turn 1 into turn number 2. Will Friedman up the inside, and he gets the job done once again on Jamal Clouden. A brilliant fight between these two. Can Clouden come back at him? He's got time. 7 3/4 of this race yet to go. Can he come back? Gary Leach now dropped off the back of Duffin. No answer to him at this minute. Meanwhile, Stardog was in front of this group. It's now McGowan who's now the leading driver of this pack. Stardog's dropped down the order. Into the fast swooping left-hander. Matthew Duffin has broken away from Gary Leach. McGowan's now trying to catch onto Leach. He's only 9/10 off and getting closer once again. Jamal Clouden on the inside trying to catch Will Friedman again. But Friedman in a little bit of a momentum and a little bit of confidence here at Valencia. Looking very strong here is Friedman. Is he going to make it 3 for 3 podiums here tonight? That is the question. Meanwhile, Gary Leach starting to become under some pressure from the Mercedes driver of Ian McGowan. Into the final corner they come. Hugh Darren not too far away either, and Ian McGowan right on the back wing of Gary Leach. Gary also bringing that gap down to Matthew Duffin. Here comes McGowan. He looks to the inside of turn number 1. He's not quite close enough. And also the leading gap is extending. Friedman starting to build a bit of a buffer from Clouden. And up the inside goes McGowan. He gets the job done, I think. Yes, he has. He's kid Gary Leach. Can he now catch the other Mercedes driver of Duffin now? Hugh Darren now onto the back wing of the Ginetta. As they go through the left hand, and now McGowan, can he do anything about Duffin? He can start to pull away from the Ginetta. Meanwhile, Friedman has got a comfortable gap now. He's run a little bit wide there. Cloudon's not there to punish him for it. So Friedman doing everything he possibly can, taking the lead of this race. As Duffin's made a mistake, he's dropped behind McGowan. McGowan's gone through, and up into top 3 goes McGowan now. But he's made a mistake now, and Duffin is now about to get swamped by the pack of cars behind him, and Gary Leach is back behind him once again. Up towards the inside comes Gary Leach. He's going to send it on Duffin. He's not quite close enough with the nose. He has a decent exit, but Hugh Darren has the better exit. And this is Who for finishing on 3rd on the podium. And all this fight going on has just allowed the top 2 to just completely disappear. Hugh Darren now on the outside of McGowan. And through goes McGowan. And Gary Leach is up the inside of Duffin here. Gary Leach looking to the outside, Duffin defending the inside. Gary Leach is going to try and undercut, but Matt parks it on the apex. What a fight we've got. Pretty much every car here, all the way down to Andy to Alistair, from 3rd all the way down to 11th are in this fight. Tipping and Sam not a million miles away from this fight either. So down to 3rd all the way to 11th place is in this train. And it is Duffing holding everybody up at this stage. Will Freeman, meanwhile, has checked out and has got a comfortable gap to Jamal Cloudon. Gary's gone up the inside, but Matt's going to come and swoop back up the inside. He's going to be on the inside for the curb. This is going to be dangerous territory. Over the curb they go. Gary's going to try and get the undercut. Matt runs wide. And look at the angry pack behind them. It's like a sound of hornets coming back at Duffin, and Matt's had a poor run through the final corner. Gary's had an even worse run. And down towards turn number 1 they go. McGowan once again coming back at Leach, going down to turn number 1. He's far enough alongside. He's got the job done. Up through he goes. McGowan now onto the back of Duffin. Leach, is he under pressure from Stardog behind? No, not quite, because he's got everyone else. He's got Nuclear Waste and Hugh Darren. Stardog all going out. Sorry, Stardog has got Hugh Darren to the outside. They make contact. He goes wide. Steve Millington on the outside now. This is going to end in tears. Alistair's just on the back of this. Tipping's now joining the party. And McGowan now onto the rear wing. Stardog's gone so wide, he's back in Barcelona. Meanwhile, Cloudon and Friedman, their gap has come back down once again. 6/10 separating these two. Cloudon made a little bit of a mistake there by the looks of things. We lost a few of the drivers here. Andy's dropped down the order, so has Hugh Darren. They're all behind Alistair. But Duffin now under some pressure from Ian McGowan. They head up towards the final corner. These two are going to have possibly this lap to go, as Cloudon's brought the gap back down. Ian McGowan knows this probably is the last lap, so he's going to give it everything he possibly can to try and get past Duffin. He's on the rear wing of Matthew Duffin. Meanwhile, in the background, Duffin defends turn number 1. McGowan's going to send it anyway up towards turn number 1. He's up the inside, and he'll get the job done. He runs wide, and Duffin will be back on the inside for turn 2. But McGowan tries to come back underneath, but can't get that job done. McGowan runs wide after contact, possibly with Gary Lee. No, Gary still no damage to the front of Gary's car, so no contact made. And Duffin, I think, has just been saved by Leach here. But once again, Will Freeman, Cloudon's gone very, very wide. That attack is gone. He's not going to be close enough this time round. but can Duffin hang on in there just to the very end as Ian McGowan and Leach are coming at him. Meanwhile, Steve Millington in the background. Nuclear Waste is there as well, as is Stardog, Alistair, Sam, Tipping. This has been fantastic racing. But this will be the final lap. It has been a masterclass from this man, from Will Friedman, who's now entering the final corner. He's going to make it 3 from 3 podiums here tonight. Out of the final corner he comes. Will Friedman, fastest lap, pole position and race win. Friedman wins race 3 here. Congratulations to him. Jamal Clouden in second. Who is going to finish in third? It is looking like Matthew Duffin after, I think, possible contact with Ian McGowan and Gary Leach. He's off. Major contact in the background, but it's going to be Duffin who's going to come home in third place position. McGowan returns back to the pits. Duffin finishes in third. It is going to be Steve Millington in the end for fourth. Gary Leach in fifth. Alistair finishes in sixth. Sam in seventh. Tipping in eighth. Andy in ninth. Who Darren will finish in 10th. Old Sim Racer in 11th. Dan Taylor in 12th. Stardog in 13th. KLF in 14th. McGowan dropping down the Nuclear Waste in 15th. Rolo in 16th. The Susie's Cream is going to finish in 17th place position. Rolo in 18th. And 20th will go the way of 19th will go the way of Matthew Collins. 20th will be Robert Ramsell. DJ Phil finished in 22nd and Jamie back in the pits. Woo! What a dramatic night's worth of racing. Valencia has delivered some amazing racing, really hard fought racing at that, and brilliant to watch that from my perspective. But Will Friedman, what a drive. He's been absolutely brilliant this evening, and best of the rest, best of all tonight. I will try and get a few drivers in for a chat. That's possibly Jamal Clouden and Matthew Duffin in with us. I'm pretty sure Matthew is possibly trying to get the tables up to date, as I'll get Jamal Clouden in here as well. Not sure Will Friedman is a chatter, so won't worry about him this evening, but awesome night's worth of racing. I'll tell you what, I'll get Sam in here. No, Sam's obviously Xbox, and I'm not sure how to do that one, but brilliant racing. Who's out on track? It is DJ Phil doing donuts. But that is that. Next time out for you guys, it's going to be the Pro-Am drivers hitting the track, as myself and Matthew Duffin will be bringing you the action of that one. Tonight, I'm going to have to give driver of the day to Will Freeman. He has been completely flawless tonight, and done anything possible that he can to try and bring that championship gap down. Speaking of the championship gap, Matthew, is the tables up to date?
Just been finished.
Ideal, perfect. So the championship standings will look like this. Matthew Duffin still leads the way, 135 points. And in this championship, that's not a lot. 100 and I would say about 180 odd points is available per round. So it's still possible for Will Freeman to bring that gap down. He needs to keep that running form. Skunky, sadly missing the final race, has dropped nearly to 200 points back to the leaders. But there is still to play for. Jamal Clouden still 268 points behind Matt. With Gary Leach in 5th. 6th is Hugh Darren. 7th is Andy. 8th is Sam. Tipping is 9th. 10th is O'Reilly. And he'll be dropping down the order pretty quickly. Old Sim Racer in 11th. McGowan in 12th. 13th, Nuclear Waste. Stardog 14th. Matt Wright in 15th. 16th is Dan Taylor. KLF in 17th. 18th is Rob Smith. Susie's Cream in 19th. 20th is Matthew Collins. 21st is DJ Phil Diz in 22nd. Darren Bell is the last car that's still mathematically in the championship, with Rolo in 24th and Lucas in 25th. Rest have still not been able to make a come up, except for Alistair, who's up to 29th. Steve Millington is in 28th position as well. Robert Ramsell in 32nd and slowly working their way up the order, and Jamie in 34th. Right, we have the top well, 2 of the top 3 in with us. We'll start with Matthew Duffin. Matt, coming into this event, you knew straight away that you were going to be handicapped and also basically fighting with one hand behind your back. It did look like it tonight, the top 2 just disappearing in the background and you basically becoming the trolley train. How much of a tricky night was that for yourself?
Solid night, really tough night tonight. Yeah, it was similar to last year, a little better than the Ginetta, I think, last season when we ended it here, but yeah, very, very tough night in that. 40 kilos around this track is not great. Again, you look at the LFM BOP and you look at tonight, I think the Mercedes would have lost 7 kilos, whereas the Porsche and the Chevy was 2 top cars for this circuit. So there's no surprise that them 2 were at the top and rapid and running away with it. But yeah, tough night tonight.
Yeah, definitely so. Your old pal Gary Leach is probably your saving grace tonight because, while obviously, yes, you 2 were fighting, but as soon as you just had him at the edge over him, then the rest of the pack came swarming through, and then he had to defend from them, which gave you a little bit of a break towards the end of that race.
Yeah, tough race because he kept making some moves on me, and he just pushed me wide a little bit. Then I managed to tuck underneath and get back. So it was a good fight with Gary. Always a good fight with Gary. But yeah, he managed to sort of end up being a rear gunner in the end almost because, like you say, that Merc down the straight just kind of had enough over Gary to pull away. And yeah, it was a tough night. But in that third race, we'll take the podiums. Cracking battle with Friedman and Clouden in race 1. Not quite sure what happened. I got a bump in race 1. Not sure where from. But it was a cracking scrap all night. And then race 2 again, similar. But the minute them 2 stopped scrapping, I couldn't keep with them. And the fact that race 3 I was scrapping with Gary and Millington, just meant that them 2 pulled away even quicker. And tough night. But we move on to another tough circuit for.
Yeah, a circuit you definitely a circuit you don't hate. Well, you do hate very much. It's Suzuka next on the calendar. Again, a circuit where power really means nothing around there. It's all about downforce and grip. And how are you feeling in the Mercedes there?
We'll have to see come Thursday night when the server gets reset. But I don't think I'm going to be too bad. Again, the research I've done, the Mercedes looks a lot better than here in Catalonia. So that's a bonus. It actually looks like this is really the last decent track for the Mercedes in terms of, weight-wise and stuff. But I know I've got a tough task, like you said a moment ago before you did the interview. One bad week for me, and all of a sudden, Friedman's in there. A good week for Skunky. Skunky. A good week for Gary. A good week for Cloud. And all of a sudden, they can claw back 100-odd points, and that gap gets, really narrowed. So it's tough. 40 kilos yet again with what we got now. 4 races left. It's going to be difficult, and me, I had to test Suzuka. So yeah, going to be an interesting one to see what we can do there. But we'll give it our best, and if we're best of the rest and pick up a couple of top 5s, it's just pointsy.
Pointsy indeed. Well, nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the podium, and best of luck next time out.
Cheers, Dio.
Next up in the commentary box is Jamal Clouden, and I knowing Jamal like I know Jamal, he's probably got a grin going from ear to ear because that was brilliant racing between him and Will Friedman. Jamal, just have a discussion about that because that looked absolutely brilliant. 2 completely different cars, the Chevy Camaro with the power and grunt against the Porsche with the light nimbleness about it. That was just cracking, race 2 and 3. Absolutely brilliant to watch.
Mate, I got no words. All I can say is massive shout out to Friedman. Like, just pure respect. You know what I mean? Like, just hard fighting. I love it. Yeah, shout out to him, man.
Am I right with saying you got a massive grin on your face?
Oh, mate, I can't stop smiling. I actually cannot stop smiling, honestly. It was just, the car was just on form. Again, as like I said last week, I'd never driven the car around here. And instantly it surprised me with the way how it can rotate around corners around here. It did suffer with understeer, but yeah, the car was just, yeah.
Well, let's obviously talk about the advantages and disadvantages that you had. Obviously, the Friedman seems to be a little bit more nimble in the tight, twisty stuff. But was that the case, or was it's quite fairly even? Did you look like you had the straight line definitely down the straight?
I had the pace in the straight, as like you just said. In the corners, he literally just had the edge over me. There wasn't really much in it. Sometimes when I was behind him, I was able to like gain on him. This thing on the brakes is just insane. So yeah, it was fairly evenly matched between both cars.
And obviously, I mean, 2 race wins that just slipped out your grasp. Obviously, where would you put that in, like, your top fights? Because you've had some amazing fights over the seasons, but surely that's got to be up there in your top 5, because that was just flat out from literally lights a flag.
Yeah, that they are definitely in my top 5. Not too sure what place, but yeah, definitely top 5. It was just ultra clean between me and him. No faults.
Again, you two starting to gain points on Matt, but not nearly enough. Matt being a little bit more consistent behind you guys. Obviously, there's still quite a big jump for you to try and get in there. You really need Matt to have a bit of bad luck to really be in the championship. But is that all you and Will Friedman need to do? You just need to crack on and get race wins and try and stop Matt from taking the top points?
Pretty much. I'm just taking each race as it comes. I'm not really thinking about the championship. I mean, if it does come to where I'm actually in the fight, then cool. But at the minute, I'm just taking each race as it comes.
We go to the land of the rising sun next. We go to Suzuka, Japan. The Chevy can abuse curbs, and there's a lot of curves that could be abused. And I've raced there in the past as well with Fury in a very, very mighty BMW. It is quite good around there. How are you going to get on at Suzuka?
Again, never driven the car around there, but all I can say is bring it on. I'm looking forward to it. I do love Suzuka. It's got a very unique flow to it. Again, we'll see what happens.
Well, nonetheless, mate, congratulations on tonight's podiums and a fantastic race as well with yourself and Will. It's been absolutely a pleasure to watch.
Thank you very much.
Well, that is that, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew Duffin still has that gap at the minute, 135 points ahead of Will Friedman, which, to be honest, sounds a lot, but it's not really that much. They will be live once again next week at Suzuka at the Land of the Rising Sun as we start to get towards the back end of the season. Suzuka, Kota, Alton Park, Donington Park. That is what is left. So it's going to come down to the wire for sure. And with the weight on board of that Mercedes-Benz, we shall see it possibly struggle towards the end. Will Friedman, though, driver of the day for myself and race winner twice and on the podium. He has been a masterclass tonight. Can he keep that momentum going as he heads towards Suzuka? But for myself tonight, that is it. I will be live once again tomorrow night with Matthew Duffin, bringing you the action of the Pro-Ams as they then tackle Valencia themselves. And then Matthew and Phil will be back in the commentary box for you for the pros on Thursday night. And that is all the action here at Simplay Motorsport. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified. And stay clean and hard racing out there, guys, because it has been brilliant to watch all night long. We'll catch you next time. Good night.